Hi everyone. So I have some people throughout my time teaching who ask, like, is all of this really, like, other than just, appreciating the earth, like, what's the point of going outside? What's the point of kind of doing these observation exercises? Like, how does this really help my kids? Like, I don't care if they're environmentalists or, I want them to focus on their work or focus on their studies, or I want them to, be really great in these other disciplines. And actually, there's like a holistic way of thinking about education, and the natural world promotes some really interesting opportunities that nowhere else can for holistic learning and for increasing skills like developing observation, critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, all of the skills that are necessary for children to be able to approach all other subject areas and excel. And so I'm going to be talking about one of those qualities, one of those characteristics, one of those attributes that outdoor education, outdoor learning allows young and old students to foster in themselves, and how that can help in this particular instance in the area of language development. Okay, so early reading has a lot to do with a number of principles, phonetics obviously, but for young students, early readers, sight words are really important. So kind of those basic words that connect sentences. We looked at today question words like who, where, why, when, how, and then some other important words like and the. And so when your students, your children are honing their observation skills, they're starting to recognize patterns. And so out in the natural world, they will start to make connections and patterns in a really organic way. And then those skills are transferred to how they approach reading and writing. So one of the things that I like to do with my students and with my girl at home is we have these cards for sight words. And so we pick a few a day and she practices writing them, but then we do what's called a word treasure hunt. And so we go through some of her favorite books. So this one in particular is called I Love You, Stinky Face, a very silly, fun book. And we pick a word. So she chose the word and so we go through that whole book. I read it to her, so she's practicing her oral listening skills and being able to identify those words really quickly. And then she goes over them as well, so with her finger, so she can try to find, like a treasure hunt, the specific word that she's looking for. So this one was and then we would just make a tally. So she noticed over that story there were 12 ands in her book. And so she loves going through that. Like she chooses a sight word every day and we go through a few books and we try to find as much of these words as we can. And it's amazing then when we're reading together after that, those words, she can pick them out so quickly. She can see the pattern in the language. She can see and observe in a much more attuned way because those skills are being developed, not just here in writing, but outside when we're asking questions and observing the natural world. She's able to pick and to observe all the things that she's seeing and applying that to her language. So that's just a fun activity that you can do with your kids, a word treasure hunt. If they're a little bit older, you can do TION endings or TING endings, and you can put a list up on the fridge, and every time your kids are reading and they find a word that has an ending, TION or ING, and they can write it on that board. Or if you have younger kids and they're practicing their sight words, like I said, you can have some cards, and as they're going through books and they notice those sight words, they can start to tally them up and see how many they can find by the end of the day.